Hello learners, welcome to the series on lectures on Python programming. In the last video, we already learned about classes and objects, right? So in this lecture, we are going to continuation of this particular part. So creating a member function inside a class. So what is mean by a function, right? So I already learned that a function is a block of statement which will do a specific task, right? So suppose if I create any function inside a class, now this becomes a member function. That means a function belongs to a particular class. Now what is the meaning? Now this particular function can be called, okay, from each object. For each object, you can call the same function. So you can understand these member functions with the help of one example. So suppose we'll see a problem. So suppose we have to create a website, or I can say uh, a program for a particular electronic shop, right? So in an electronic shop, we have different items, right? Electronic items. Say it may be any n number of electronic items. So for example, if I say item one, say first item, okay, so I'll write say a name of the item one. So I'll write name of the item. Say I'll say phone. Okay. So for example, for a phone item. So next I'll say what is the price? I'll write price of the phone. Say it may be some 12,000. So after that I'll write so number of quantity of the same phone present in a particular shop. Okay. So I'll say quantity. Okay, say is equal to, say I have 10 quantity of the same phone. In the same way, I'll create one more item. So I can say name, say I'll write, as a name one, name of item one is maybe a laptop. So I'll say price, it may be say 50,000 price. Okay. Next, I'll say quantity. Okay. So quantity one. So I have 5 laptops. Oh, okay. So I'll make sure I'll say Acer laptop. Okay. In the same way, I'll write. Okay. More specifically, I'll write. Right. So now these are the say 2 items. Now what happens? Now if I want to list all the items present in a particular shop, now it's very difficult me to do with the help of these variables, right? So I want to create 3 variables for one item, right? For based on my categories, or I can say properties. In this case, we have only 3 properties. If I have more than 20 properties, I want to create 20 variables, right? So it becomes very difficult to write those variables and access those variables. Right? Instead of doing that, so I can create the same, I can represent all the these variables with the help of classes and objects. So we already seen in the last class. So for this, okay, to rewrite these things, I'm going to create one class, say class items. So all the items belongs to this particular class. Now, what these items contains? We have this item contains the variables name, price, and quantity, right? So now this name, price, and quantity are the variables of particular class. Now, how can we create a variables? We can create a constructor so that we can create one instance variable inside a class and going to initialize with those values, right? So as in the previous class, we are going to do the same, right? So I'll write how to do a constructor now. So we have the define keyword, right? So define double underscore init, right? So after that, we have self parameter, right? Then we are going to initialize. To initialize means I have to pass some argument to this constructor. I'll say, what is the name of the phone. Now I'll say name should be in string value str. Next, I'll say price. I can say price in integer and also quantity in integer. Right? Now I have to just indentation. Right. So we got the constructor. So I can directly create one object of this class and pass all the things Okay, so what is my requirement to this constructor? I'm going to initialize these variables. Now, how can I rewrite the same thing? Okay, right. So I'll create an object. Okay, now object belongs to the items class, right? So I'll write item one, okay, is equal, it belongs to item class. So mi phone 12,000 rupees and 10. Now what the meaning? Now this mi phone is passed to the string variable, right? So it is stored in the name, price and quantity respectively. Okay, right. In the same way, I can create one more item, say item two. Okay, I'll say is equal to, so items. Okay, so I'll write one more item, say Acer laptop, 50,000 rupees and five. Right. So now this is the step which becomes easy. Okay, instead of creating lots of variables, we can create only three variables inside a class, and you can go to initialize for different objects. For different object, we'll get the copy of instance variables and going to initialize with the given values. Right. Okay, now this is about how we going to create the variable inside a class. Suppose in this case, okay, I want to find the total price. Okay, total price of Acer laptop. Okay, present in my shop. Now, how can we proceed that? I should say something like print price one multiplied by, right? So price one multiplied by quantity one, right? So when I write this statement, so I'll get the total price for the item one, or I can say item one is a laptop. In the same way, I need for mi phone means I have to do the same things, right? So this is also one problem occur. Uh, so when I create lots of variables, I want to calculate the total price. So instead of creating for each uh, items, I can create this, I can make this as one function and I can create inside a class. Right? How to do that? Right. So I'll create one function, say define, say total price. So I'll create one member function, saying total price, I'll say total price. Okay, the self. I'll say return self dot price. Okay, multiplied by self dot quantity. Now, what is the meaning? So, if I want to calculate, I want to multiply the instance variables present inside the class. I want to always call with the self parameter, right? So, with the help of self parameter, I have to right? So, for example, I have to multiply price and quantity means I'd say return self dot, okay, so price and say multiplied by self dot, okay, quantity. Now, this will give the multiplication of those values. Right. Now, how to call this member function? Again, you have to create with the help of object only you have to call. So suppose if I say print, okay, so item one dot, okay, I suppose I want to calculate the total price for this item one. Okay, item one. So I have to say item one dot, okay, so what's the my function name? Total price. So now I can access here, right? So item one dot total price, right? So when I run the code, just comment this. Okay, so I got the total price of all the smartphones or AMI phones present in my electronic shop. In the same way, I need for one more thing. So I can say print, okay, item two dot total price. Okay, so I'll get the total price for. So, okay, so we are defining a single member function and you can access with the different object or again, any number of objects directly. Okay, so with the help of objects, we can access those functions or member functions, right? Now, this is the help with the help of member function. Now, this task becomes more easy, right? So we can define only once in the particular case. So I hope this concept is understood for you. For more videos, please share and subscribe for the channels.